Kim Soo Hyun finally broke his silence after weeks of being at the center of a massive scandal. His highly anticipated press conference was supposed to clear the air, but instead it left fans more divided than ever. What was meant to be a straightforward apology turned into an emotional roller coaster filled with shocking revelations, suspicious omissions, and a dramatic shift in tone that no one saw coming. The moment Kim Soo Hyun walked into the room, you could feel the tension. Gone was the bright, charismatic actor we're used to seeing on screen. In his place stood a man who looked visibly exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, a stiff posture, and an expression that screamed of sleepless nights. The room was packed with reporters, but you could hear a pin drop. No one dared to speak first. Everyone was waiting to hear what he would say, how he would address the rumors that had been swirling for weeks. When he finally spoke, his first words sent chills through everyone watching. "First of all, I want to apologize," he began, his voice heavy with emotion. "Many people are suffering because of me, and it breaks my heart to know that the deceased cannot rest in peace." Right from this opening statement, something felt off. Notice how he didn't actually say what he was apologizing for. Was he sorry for his actions? For keeping secrets? Or just sorry that people were upset? The vagueness was impossible to ignore. Another detail that jumped out was how he referred to Kim Soo Hyun. Not by name, but as the deceased. Some saw this as respectful, others thought it felt strangely impersonal, like he was trying to create distance. This choice of words would become a recurring theme throughout the press conference, careful, calculated phrasing that revealed just as much as it concealed. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for, his confirmation about their relationship. In a voice barely above a whisper, he stated, "I did not date the deceased when she was underage. Our relationship was like any other. We met, had feelings for each other, and over time we broke up." On the surface, this seemed to address the biggest concern, the rumors about him being involved with a minor. But look closer and you'll notice what he didn't say. No specific dates. No timeline. No explanation of how long they were together or why it ended. Just that it was like any other relationship, a phrase that felt oddly dismissive given the circumstances. The internet exploded with reactions. Some fans completely believed him, pointing to his emotional delivery as proof of his sincerity. Others weren't convinced, noting that Kim Soo Hyun is one of Korea's most talented actors. If anyone could deliver a convincing performance, it would be him. This divide in public opinion would only grow as the press conference continued. When asked why he had hidden the relationship for so long, his answer was startling in its honesty. "I was always focused on protecting what I had built. I was afraid of losing something, of being harmed. And because of that, I spent too much time running and denying things." In other words, he lied to protect his career. He admitted to being scared of losing his fame, his endorsements, his carefully crafted public image. While some saw this as refreshingly honest, others called it selfish, pointing out that his silence didn't just affect him but Kim Soo Hyun as well. Then came the tears. Midway through his explanation, Kim Soo Hyun's voice cracked. His eyes filled with tears that he quickly wiped away, but not before the cameras caught every moment. It was raw, it was emotional, but was it genuine? Social media immediately split into two camps. Some viewers were moved by his apparent pain, while others questioned whether this was just another performance from an actor known for his ability to cry on cue. The timing felt too perfect, the emotional beats too carefully placed. Just when it seemed the press conference was winding down, Kim Soo Hyun dropped a bombshell that changed everything. His tone shifted dramatically as he announced plans to take legal action against those spreading false information about him and his relationship. Suddenly, the vulnerable, tearful man was gone, replaced by someone determined and forceful. This stark contrast wasn't accidental, it was a calculated move. First, he showed vulnerability to gain sympathy. Then, he demonstrated strength to reassert control. A masterclass in crisis management, if you will. But here's what's really disturbing. Throughout the entire press conference, Kim Soo Hyun barely mentioned how his actions might have affected Kim Soo Hyun. He spoke at length about his own pain, his own fears, his own career, but said almost nothing about the woman at the center of the scandal. This glaring omission didn't go unnoticed by viewers or the media. Korean news outlets covered the event extensively, but the reactions were mixed. Some praised his honesty, while others pointed out the inconsistencies in his story. One particularly scathing commentary noted, "This wasn't an apology, it was a carefully staged attempt at damage control." The divide in public opinion reflected just how complicated this situation had become. So where does this leave us? Kim Soo Hyun remains one of Korea's biggest stars, but this scandal has undoubtedly left its mark. The entertainment industry is watching closely to see how the public reacts in the coming weeks. Will fans forgive and forget? Or has this incident permanently changed how people view one of Korea's most beloved actors? One thing's certain, this press conference raised more questions than it answered. The carefully chosen words, the emotional moments, the sudden shift to aggression, all of it points to a story that's far from over. As the dust settles, new details are bound to emerge, and the public's perception may shift yet again. What did you think of Kim Soo Hyun's press conference? Were his tears genuine, or was this all an elaborate performance? Truth may be more complicated than any of us realize. One thing's for sure, we haven't heard the last of this scandal. Stay tuned, because this story is still unfolding, and the next chapter could be even more shocking than what we've seen so far. Remember to keep an eye out for updates as this situation continues to develop. And if you thought this press conference was revealing, just wait until we see how the public and the industry respond in the days to come. This isn't over, not by a long shot.